Now, from Western North Carolina's news leader, this is News 13 This Morning.
We are tracking the latest weather right now in the mountains. The big story is this weekend's expected wintry mix.
With temperatures the way they are looking right now, we could see some snow actually starting Saturday afternoon.
Good morning to you. It is Friday, January 11th. I'm Holly Hedrick.
And I'm Katie Killen. And Karen, it is already so cold out there this morning.
It really is starting off very cold, but we do have a warmer day ahead. And the good news is, even though we do have this winter storm coming in, it's not going to be a huge high impact situation, but we definitely do need to be aware for the threat of slick, icy roads. So more on that coming up. 26 right now, very, very cold to begin the day. As we go on through the morning, we're going to drop off a little bit over the next hour or so, about 24 degrees at 7 o'clock, but the sun comes out, the warm up begins 28 at 9, and then by 11, 34 degrees leading into a milder afternoon. But of course, we do have our next weather maker, and this is going to bring more of a wintry mix than any kind of huge snow. We could see some light snow accumulations, but right now it does look like the highest impacts where that's concerned is going to be in our northern mountains and into the foothills. But we do have that chance for freezing rain, not all weekend long though. We'll time it all out for you and show you when you're going to want to stay off the roads for a while there. We'll have all that for you coming up.
This morning, we are following breaking news out of southern Buncombe County. The westbound lanes of I-26 near Long Shoals Road are shut down right now due to an overturned tractor trailer.
News 13's Lauren Brigman joins us along that detour route right now. And Lauren, what time did all of this happen?
It happened around 3 this morning, and emergency officials on scene expect it to take hours to actually clear the scene. In fact, just about 10 minutes ago, we saw the first sign of the tow truck actually headed that way to help clear things up. But drivers are being diverted onto the Long Shoals Road exit right here. This is exit 37 in southern Buncombe County. And the accident's actually about 2 miles up the road. Emergency dispatchers tell us the driver in all of this was not hurt in the crash and no other vehicles are involved, but the big rig was hauling wood chips. It's blocking both westbound lanes of the interstate. Some drivers even got stuck in the backup just behind that crash scene. They were turned around with the help from authorities on the scene. Now, right now, emergency officials are asking everyone who can to please avoid taking I-26 westbound. If you're headed, say, from Hendersonville toward Asheville, consider taking an earlier exit to get onto Hendersonville Road, perhaps, and certainly plan ahead because those routes are likely to get congested as well. We'll have another update coming up in just about 15 minutes. Live in Buncombe County, Lauren Brigman, News 13.
An update on that little boy trapped in his home by a falling tree in Black Mountain. News 13 talked with 6-year-old Reed Taylor and his family. He is doing well and his parents are calling him brave. Firefighters pulled him out to safety on Wednesday morning. His mom and dad say he is doing great and he's a big fan of those firefighters who saved him.
He can move off his feet, his legs and everything. It was just pinned on his head.
And then the moment they pulled him out, it was almost like delivering him again. That joy, that joy of just seeing him.
Thank you, stay alive.
And the home is uninhabitable right now. A relative set up a GoFundMe page to raise money. You can find a link on WLOS.com.
Also this morning, an update on a deputy-involved shooting in Rutherford County that sent Sergeant Tyler Green and the suspect, Paul Wren, to the hospital Wednesday. Wren is now charged with resisting and assaulting Sergeant Green. Wren entered the courtroom yesterday in a wheelchair with cuts on his face and his arm bandaged. Investigators say Green fired his service weapon after Wren hit him in the head with a flashlight and tried taking his taser.
He was definitely dazed and attempting to get him in custody. Paul never would stop, and he was shot one time in the arm. After that, we were very blessed. The deputy was able to ask for emergency help.
The SBI has been called in to investigate. Wren should be back in court in about 2 weeks.
The second suspect in a Raleigh officer-involved shooting case will be in court today. Officer Charles Ainsworth was shot in the face on Wednesday night. He's still recovering in the hospital after surgery. The man authorities say shot him, Cedric Carney, was in court on Thursday. Authorities say Officer Ainsworth was ambushed and shot multiple times after stopping a car that was believed to have been stolen. North Carolina is the only state in the country that won't let people in same-sex dating relationships get a domestic violence protective order. Now, State Attorney General Josh Stein is calling the law unconstitutional.
About 1 out of every 5 murders in North Carolina involves an intimate partner. And it's imperative that this state protect everyone in North Carolina from any form of violence. And obviously that includes people in same-sex relationships, just as it does in opposite-sex relationships.
Stein tweeted out that he has filed a brief with the North Carolina court trying to get that law overturned.
A 14-year-old girl is suing the Lowell Police Department police chief and town. She says a former officer impregnated her and took advantage of her family's trust. DNA tests confirm the former officer, James Paul Blair, is the father. The teen's attorney said the city and police chief failed to provide training and oversight to prevent this type of situation from happening. Blair pleaded guilty to statutory rape and is serving a minimum sentence of 12 years in prison. The North Carolina Department of Transportation has released its list of projects for the next 10 years. The list is released every 2 years and establishes the projects NCDOT has received funding for. While some projects previously announced have been delayed, many new ones have been added. Here in western North Carolina, the DOT has added 28 new projects.
Every county across the state is going to be impacted by the results of the program.
On the last week of February, the DOT will host meetings about those projects to get public input.
We're almost at flu season here in the mountains, and coming up, why experts say time is running out for you to get your flu shot.
Plus, what APD officers did to connect with people in their community.
And here's a look at your latest snowfall probabilities for the weekend. Best chance of 2 inches of snow or more is going to be in our foothills and our northern mountains. More on the timing of this system coming up. All right, we are going to be in for a warmer afternoon. Cold this morning, but we make it into the 40s later on today. Enjoy that sunshine, 39 at noon and then 44 degrees by 3 o'clock. So kind of the calm before the next winter storm. Now, of course, our next system is going to be moving in over the weekend. And what we're thinking right now is as we go through the overnight, we could begin to get some light snow showers in the higher elevations. But in Asheville, it looks like it's going to be mainly light snow as we go on through Saturday afternoon, picking up a little bit into the evening, but then turning over into a wintry mix of sleet, snow, and freezing rain for much of Saturday night and early Sunday morning. And this is when it's going to be the most dangerous on the roads, when there could be some icy patches. Now, Sunday during the day, we're expected to warm up above freezing, and much of this is going to turn back over into a cold rain. This is going to be more of an issue with the freezing rain Saturday night, Sunday morning than with any kind of heavy snow. So slick roads, anywhere you see blue is where there could be some light icing from the freezing rain showing up on one of our computer models on through Sunday afternoon. And notice this does take in the foothills and also the southern mountains. Really though, the biggest chance is going to be again Saturday night on into Sunday. We'll talk more about snowfall amounts coming up a little later.
You could say Asheville police invited the public to monopolize their time in a fun way.
The latest Coffee with a Cop session was held at Well Played Board Game Cafe on Wall Street yesterday. Most folks only meet officers in stressful situations, so Captain Joe Silberman says this is a great way to engage with them in a laid-back environment.
Officers are often called to really hard situations that are tense and stressful for people around them, and this is a way to not have the tension and stress of some kind of incident or negative experience like a traffic collision.
Police say Coffee with a Cop and Walk with a Cop help residents get to know the officers in their neighborhood.
The time right now is 5:42. Coming up, a breakthrough in the case of a Wisconsin teen missing for months, where police finally located her.
I just thought to myself, this is totally wrong, that somebody shouldn't be making a profit off of something that came from FEMA.
A North Carolina man is frustrated after finding FEMA meals meant for hurricane victims being sold. Why the state and federal organization justified the practice.
We are following breaking news for you this morning out of southern Buncombe County. An overturned 18-wheeler is blocking the westbound lanes of Interstate 26. We're in a parking lot here along Long Shoals Road. That is where drivers are being diverted. You can see the additional signage going up right now. The on-ramp to get onto I-26 westbound also blocked at this time. This all happened around 3 o'clock this morning. No word yet on the cause of the crash, but we know by talking with emergency dispatchers that nobody's injured, no other vehicles are involved, but that big rig hauling wood chips at the time of that crash, so cleanup is expected to take hours at this point. So definitely something to be aware of as you're heading out. If you normally take I-26 westbound from, say, Hendersonville to Asheville, you'll need to take an earlier exit. You can take Long Shoals Road and head toward Hendersonville Road or Brevard Road, but definitely expect congestion even on these alternate routes. We are updating you all morning long with the latest progress on the cleanup. We have seen a tow truck head that direction, so hopefully some progress is being made. We'll have another update coming up in about 15 minutes. Live in Buncombe County, Lauren Brigman, News 13.
A Wisconsin family gets some good news after suffering a tragedy. Jamie Kloss was found alive Thursday night.
She went missing on the same day her parents were killed, John Lawrence reports.
A traumatic Thursday with a happy ending. Jamie Kloss, who was last seen nearly 3 months ago, is found alive in Gordon, Wisconsin.
There was rumors earlier, and I prayed they were true, and they come to not be true, and I just shut myself totally down.
But shortly afterward, authorities gave the family the update they've been waiting for.
And then to find out 2 hours later that she was found, I just cannot believe this.
The 13-year-old disappeared on October 15th. That's the same day her parents, James and Denise, were discovered shot to death in their home. Authorities found the bodies after getting a mysterious 911 call made from Denise Kloss's phone. There was no one in the house when police arrived, but they believe that Kloss was there when her parents were killed. A suspect was taken into custody, but authorities didn't share any more details other than saying this case is still an active investigation. Jamie Kloss will soon be reunited with relatives. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Law enforcement and family members are expected to hold a press conference later on today.
Emergency food meant for hurricane victims apparently has a secondary market approved by the state of North Carolina and FEMA. Retired Army veteran Benny Reynolds spotted this ad on Craigslist selling ready-to-eat meals. He says the ad stated the meals were from Hurricane Florence, but the state says they sold the man who put up the ad thousands of meals from a surplus left over from Hurricane Matthew. State officials usually buy the meals from FEMA, and they think selling the excess meals left over after disaster is justified.
We are trying to be as responsible as we can with tax dollars, and so we know that we can get some amount of money by surplus. We don't want to provide expired meals to disaster survivors, and I don't want to take the chance of maybe somebody getting sick from an expired meal.
He says all of the FEMA meals the state sells are expired and that many people will still eat expired meals at a cheap price. But Reynolds, who bought the meals for himself, says some misleading advertisement over the wrong hurricane, along with improper storage, can leave people with meals like this.
Something has leaked all in this one. It's wet. You can tell that it was in too much heat.
Those Skittles are completely hardened together. The state also sold thousands of leftover meals from Hurricane Matthew to several other buyers. Officials estimate that number equals more than 200,000 meals across North Carolina.
New numbers show 16 people have died this flu season in North Carolina, and we have yet to actually hit peak activity. That's why health officials are encouraging people to get the flu vaccine now. Flu deaths started to soar at this time last year, and by the end of the 2018 season, the state charted 391 flu deaths. That's the most since the state started tracking adult flu deaths since 2009.
It takes 2 weeks for the flu vaccine to truly take effect. And so if you're trying to be vaccinated at the peak season, it's not going to be as effective as if you get it now.
Health officials think the peak will hit before the end of February, so now is the time to go ahead and get that shot.
Now, your News 13 Skywatch weather.
Cold outside right now, beginning Friday morning in the lower 20s, but by 9 o'clock we should be up to around 28, and then pushing 40 by lunchtime, into the 40s during mid-afternoon, about 44 by 3 o'clock. Enjoy that sunshine because we do have some changes coming our way with a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. In fact, we can see our next system getting organized over Texas, already pushing that first round of wintry weather on through the Ozarks, Arkansas, Missouri. It's tracking eastward and should make it on into the mountains for the weekend. Hour-by-hour futurecast, though, does show that this system has some breaks and a lull in the action. So today is going to be dry and sunny. We do have clouds moving in tonight, and then early Saturday morning we could see a few light snow showers in some of our northern mountains. This particular computer model puts down some light snow in northeastern Buncombe County around Barnardsville, and then we continue to see very widely scattered activity, mainly north of I-40 through the morning. Much of the afternoon, though, not a whole lot happening. It's later in the day on into the evening. We have more of that moisture moving in, and anywhere you see purple, this is the potential for freezing rain and icy roads. Looks like that's going to be the biggest problem Saturday night on into Sunday morning, with temperatures going down to that freezing mark. Now Sunday, as we go into the afternoon, we are going to see a lot of this turn back over to just a cold rain. But of course, we continue to have those pockets of purple indicating that chance for some slippery roads. And we do see, anywhere you see blue here, that potential for some freezing rain over the weekend, mainly on into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Snow potential not as great, fairly light snow, if any, less than a 10% chance in much of Buncombe County for 2 inches of snow or more. And we'll go ahead and wrap it up with today's highs. We're in the mid-40s. And quick look at that 7-day forecast, a couple of weather-worn days over the weekend.
A Haywood County health clinic that provided care to uninsured and low-income families closes. But the legacy of the Good Samaritan's compassionate care will be continued by nearby Blue Ridge Health.
The Good Samaritan operated around Waynesville for 20 years. The nonprofit ran on donations but couldn't keep up with the growing need. It signed over its remaining funds of $295,000 to Blue Ridge Health, which says it will pick up Good Samaritan's cause and expand it.
I actually turned it into a negative into a positive by making a clothing line.
A young girl bullied for her skin color starts a clothing line. Hear her reaction when the stars started wearing her shirts.
A California girl is trying to make something positive out of a bad experience with bullying, and several celebrities are taking notice.
Karis Rogers says back in high school she was actually bullied because of her dark skin color. She says the bullying surprised her because it was actually coming from other African American students. She asked her older sister for help, and her sister started taking photos of her at a fashion competition with custom-made t-shirts that said "Flexin' in my complexion." Kira says the saying came from her grandmother. She's really excited about the reaction the shirts are getting in Hollywood.
And so I was just scrolling down Instagram, and all of a sudden my mom texted me. She said, "Girl, Lupita is wearing your shirt."
And it's not just Lupita taking notice. Karis has gotten to meet with LeBron James and Tyra Banks. So
Good
cool.
for her.
Yeah,
how exciting.
An overturned tractor trailer has the westbound lanes of Interstate 26 shut down right now in southern Buncombe County. Coming up in a live report, we'll take a look at that accident scene.
Today, many government workers will not get a paycheck as the shutdown enters day 21. How one local organization is helping those workers.
During our winter storm this weekend, it looks like the heaviest snow totals are going to be in the northern mountains. 1 to 3 inches possible in Yancey and Mitchell counties, and we see that go to 2 to 4 inches up in Avery County. We'll have more on snowfall totals and the timing coming up.